We are live. We are live. We are live on a Monday, on the 3rd of November, 2025. How to finish our year strong. We want to finish this year strong. Let me know if you are present. Let me know if you are present. I hope you had a wonderful weekend and we are ready to start a new week. Not only a new week, but also a new month. And this month of November, we want to finish strong. We left with 2 months, but we can also say we left with 1 month. And also this month of November, we have goals that we've been given by our teams and also from the head office, goals that have to do with March, I think so, goals that are of building an incentive from November. So I know that most of the teams in November, they are beginning to build the incentive according to how your uplines have spoken to you. We are not going to touch that because that is a holy ground that is between you and your upline. And I want to appreciate my upline, Mr. Baloi. This morning, he surprised me with this t-shirt that I'm wearing. Mr. Baloi likes to, he's the kind of a trainer, when he trains you, he loves to help you to visit your future. I know that right now, since he joined this company, he has gone twice to Mauritius. And I think he decided that he wants to send a t-shirt like this to me to say, I want you to visit your future. I think he's saying that let's meet again in Mauritius and have a meeting. And also, I also wanted to fit it for him to see that he's complaining about my weight this year, just to tell him that it's fitting well. It's fitting well. Look, I want to really appreciate you for being part of us today. Let's see who has joined us today. Let's just see who has joined us today. Let's see who has joined us. And I also request you to continue to welcome people in the group there. The people who are asking to join, I think there is quite a lot of people who will be asking to be approved to join in here. Whilst I am making this presentation today, please help me and welcome those people. Today I'm treating a very, very important topic today. A very important topic. Okay, we are just looking at the people who have just come. I can see 12 views here. Well, on my phone immediately I can see, Leader Masijo, Leader Malik Tola. I can see Leader Calvin, and happy birthday, sir. I hope your birthday continues. And yesterday I decided to make that salute and tribute to thank you for showing up in the Facebook the way you do. Leader Calvin has got a special way of always showing up, and his consistency. And yesterday I decided to give him a gift, which I think maybe you will see there. So I can see Leader Mina, and those are the leaders that I am looking at just at the pictures. And if you can just to like and like on the live, if you like there and send a message, I'll be able to see you. Like and send a message on the live, I'll be able to see you. And today I want to ask also a question. How many of you are ready for today's meeting? How many of you are ready for today's meeting? How many of you are ready to be changed by today's meeting? And I can see Leader Gracie Kobe, and I can see Leader Shanine, Leader Dineo Kobedi, I can see Leader Ivy, and let me see, okay, let's take this. Yes, I can see Leader Ivy, and today I just want to say, how many of us are ready for the journey that we are going to take today? How many of us are ready for the journey that we are going to take today? My topic today, it says that the great wealth migration, why your home is the new palace of prosperity, why your home is the new palace of prosperity. And it says how virtual and home offices are creating empires today. Today, before I talk about even creating an empire, we will need to be kings and queens. Before we talk about building our empires, we will need to have the king and queen mentality before we do that. Today, we are not building downlines. We are not building downlines. We are building empires today. If you start thinking about building downlines, you are going to limit yourself. We are building empires today. It doesn't matter whether you are in your prison today, but when you are a king, even your prison walls, they are going to prepare you for your empire. I don't know what is your prison today. Maybe your prison is a financial debt. Maybe your prison today, is some kind of sickness. But when you are a king and a queen and you are building your empire, even the prison guards, they will come to you and take care of you because they know that you are the next in throne. So today, I don't want you to think about downlines. I want you to think about your empire. And also, I want you to ask yourself this question before we begin. Why are kings and queens ruling from home? Why are kings and queens ruling from home? Why are the palaces, why are palaces homes, and why these homes, when they rule the entire kingdom, they rule it from home? I want you to have this in your mind today, because kings and queens don't go to offices. They don't go to offices where they go to work in offices. They work from home. And working from home to them is not some kind of a spaza business, but it is to rule the entire territory, the entire dominion. So I want you to think from that level. I want you to ask yourself this question, that originally, why institutions, why schools were at home? Imagine the king, how he is taught protocol. All protocols are taught from home. Whether he is taught diplomacy, how to welcome the other kings and queens and the prime ministers and presidents, they are taught from home. And I want you to ask yourself this question. Why are the kings and queens ruling from home? And why are you? If you have to rule, you have to move out of your home. You have to go to a hall and let people vote for you and give you some many votes for you to be suddenly visible. Suddenly visible, you move away from a place which you are supposed to be ruling from. You have to go to corporate offices somewhere so that you can feel important. When you are going out of home as a father, you go out of home as a mother. When you step in your corporate office, you enter there, people are bowing to you as an executive director. Why does it have to be like that? Do we have maybe this multi-personality, which when we are at home, it makes us to be a different person? What is it that we are creating from our homes? Are we creating poverty in our homes? Are the homes that we are in right now poverty creating places? Why do we have to move out of the homes and go to some places for us to feel important? What environment have you created at home? Because the king and the queen, what they do, I left my water. What they do, they raise the prince and the princess at home. And as they raise them at home, they have an environment of kingdom protocol inside home. Now, if you are going to be, the distributor of APL Go, and you thinking of your empire, what environment have you created at home? What environment have you created at home? Before I go to my topic today, maybe we need to look at some leaders that have emulated this system, because they saw that this system of of doing business from home is the real system, because their homes are the palaces that they are working from. And I will take this from, our own people first, then I will go up. If you look at Vusi Tembegwayo, the renowned entrepreneur, he's hosting most of his virtual business sessions from home. If you look at maybe Sia Kolisi, our rugby captain, he runs the Kolisi Foundation and hosts the virtual events from home. If you look at Basitana Kumalo, the media mogul and the former Miss South Africa, she runs her media business empire from home. Because when you are at home, you are creating an empire and you are creating a legacy for your children and for your children's children. That is in South Africa. But when we go up, you will see people like Ntabiseng Musia, a co-founder of Easy Solar in Sierra Leone, working from home. Well, Trevor Noah hosts daily shows most of the time, from his New York apartment. And DJ Sbu, the South African entrepreneur and the media personality, he runs virtual sessions from home. We can quote a lot locally, but when we go up there, we can see people like Tim Cook, the Apple, the virtual launches. He does them from home, and when you look at people like Elon Musk, most of the time they work from their homes, their properties, they even have landing zones. If you look at Jeff Bezos, most of his multiple homes, he works from those homes. Richard Branson works from home. Bill Gates works from home. And what about me and you? What is it that we have created about our homes today? What home environment have you created today? It cannot be easy at homes, looking at it from the South African perspective. Maybe you and I are saying that, I stay in a forum, I stay in a shack. But even in the Bible, I know of kings and queens that were ruling from the caves. They started in the caves to rule. They were ruling from the caves because they knew that they are building a kingdom. They are building a kingdom. And before I start, let me give a 5-minute story, which is my favorite story of a queen that was building an empire. Because when you are going to build your empire, you need to look at it as an empire, not as downlines. You need to look at it with a patience of a king, a patience of a queen, because now you are building an empire. You don't just jump out of a WhatsApp group simply because somebody didn't say something that you like. You have the patience of a king and a queen to build your empire. This is not a business plan. This is a kingdom plan. This is an empire plan. And that is what we want you to do in APL Go today. If we are going to take APL Go to the world, we will need to be the kings and queens that are building the empires. Those people who mostly read the Bible, they will know a place in the Bible that says originally, when God created, he had kings and queens in the mind. Not kings and servants, kings and queens in the mind. This mentality is going to help us to change the environment of our homes. There is a problem in our homes that is kind of manufacturing poverty. That is kind of making you, when you come home, you just think of generation, you think of skim sum. When you come home, it is a place of coming to rest. Whatever resting means to you, but when you come home, you are coming home to create poverty. You are coming home to create, that laid back kind of mentality. But if you were a king and a queen, the children that you are raising, they will know that a home is a place of protocol. A home is a place that you need to create between you and your children, whether there is food or no food, whether your home looks like a prison. But when you are a king and queen in waiting, even poverty will apologize to you. Poverty will say to you, we are sorry that you are temporarily hosted by us, but we are going to make sure that very soon, when you come out of this place, please remember us. So I don't mind whatever place that you are today. Let me just give a little story. And this story, let me say it's a fiction. That's going to help me, with acceptance of the story in YouTube. Whether you could be an accidental king like the king I know, who became an accidental king because his brother left the throne. His brother was not responsible enough. As a result, he struggled all his life. He struggled all his life because he was not prepared for this position. Struggling in which way? He was not ready. He was not made ready to rule. Therefore, he could not give speeches. He was also always stuttering. His hands were shaking, and he even became stressed and sick to the point of dying because he was not ready to become a king. Then, when the daughter was on a visit to some other African countries, he got a message that his father has passed on. And it was a burden to her because she knew that her family was not made ready to become kings and queens. They were just princes and princesses. And when he heard that his father was gone, he was out with his, a new husband. And when he was out with his new husband, who is coming from the Navy, she picked up something from the husband. What she picked up was that the husband was a womanizer. The husband, every time when they visit all these places, there would be a bodyguard that would bring a lady. Then she noticed that, look, I have a husband whose goal is to open a brothel. And I am this person who has just been told that my dad is gone, and in my mind has to prepare myself for building an empire. Then he met and had a meeting with the husband and said, we are going back home. My dad is no more, and therefore my dad is no more. I am the next queen. So I can see that we have some problems. And these problems that we have, we are going back to a home, an institution, and a palace. Therefore, we will need to follow the protocols of that place. Since I notice that you have a big, your vision, your identity, your destiny is all about all the beautiful women here. We are going to arrange a nice place at the back of the palace where you are going to continue with your calling. You are going to continue there with your calling, whatever your calling is, whatever your thinking is, just continue, and we will arrange that those ladies come in and out there. And then as for me, I want you to know that my mind is made up that I am going to build an empire. I am going to build an empire. Can you imagine something that today would just take any of us, off our goal? We will be distracted and move away from our goal. I don't know how my upline puts it, but my upline normally says that if you don't have a goal, you are going to have distractions. If you don't have a goal, you are going to have distractions. This lady discovered her identity, that she is actually a queen. And therefore, the identity that she discovered was the identity that was going to discipline her towards her destiny. Once you know your identity, your destiny, you are going to arrive in your destiny. And therefore, she knew that whatever distraction, however big it is not going to stop her. She is going to build her empire. And I want you to write right now in the comment and say, I am going to build my empire. Whatever that is disturbing you, whatever that is a distraction in your life, whether it is your upline or your downline, whether it is something at home. Sometimes our homes are not, user friendly. We fight with our partners all the time. The home environment makes us not to be able to run these businesses, but just like this queen, we decide that part of our home, we are going to change it to be the place where we build our empire. Even if all the other rooms are ruled by people, family members who do not have the same vision like we have. Like this guy who did not have the vision of building an empire, then there was an apartment that was prepared for that guy. You will be in a home that will have people who do not have the thinking that you have. From your partner to the children, where everybody in the home is just designing the home as a poverty making machine. But when you make up in your mind that I'm going to build an empire, if you say I'm going to build an empire, as I say that this is not a true story, this is a fiction. That lady in my fiction lived up to 100 years. And that guy in my fiction also lived up to 100 years to see that, when somebody is resolute about building an empire, nothing is going to change that person. I hope I'm making sense to you, and confirm if you can still see me on live. I have a slow connection here. Now, that is the background of the story which I wanted to give to you. If you can hear me, please confirm in the, let's see if I can just confirm if you can hear me. Just confirm that if you can hear me. Okay, I'm struggling with my, let me just take, I'm struggling with my mouse. Okay. Let's see what we can do with the mouse. Okay. I see the reason why I'm struggling with my mouse now. Okay. Gracie, I'm going to build my empire. I'm building my family empire for generations. Yes, we can hear you. Seen and heard. You are building your empire. You don't have to judge the home that you are in right now. You don't have to judge the home that you are in, that it is a forum. You don't have to judge it that it is, it is not user-friendly for you to build your empire. Some people, they were building their empires from the caves. Some people, they started to build their empires from the prison. If your home is a prison today, where you and your partner are not in so much good, maybe let's say you don't see the same vision, you don't see the same thing, but you will have to make up your mind that in the 4 rooms that are in the house, he or she can have another room with the children and make whatever that they make, But as for me, I will have this room, even if it is the smallest room in the house. That room, I am going to build my empire. I'm going to take that space and I'm going to change it, because today it's not about that you are building downlines. You are not building downlines. You are building an empire. An empire is something which you are building and becoming exemplary to the prince and the princess of the house. You become exemplary to them that, my child, we don't have food today. My child, today I'm fighting with your dad, but let me tell you this, I am building my empire. I am building my empire, and that empire, you are going to rule in that empire. You are going to rule in that empire. I'm just setting this foundation because we looking at the kings and queens that are ruling from their homes. They have turned their homes into palaces. And in the palace, there is protocol, there is order, there is a way of greeting, that everything they do, even when they sit at the tables, there is a way of sitting, there is a way of communication, because that home is ruling the entire Netherlands, the entire Britain, the entire, KwaZulu, the entire Emampondweni, the entire Botswana, because it is ruled from home. Kings and queens don't rule from offices. They rule from home. Therefore, you will understand my story today when I say we have begun a migration. There is a move today because the season has shifted. Just like the wildebeest when they are crossing continents in search of new life. The seasons have shifted today. The economy is returning home. The prosperity is returning to the private spaces. And you will have to make up your mind. All the billionaires, all the millionaires are going back home. Go and look at Britain today. If you look at London today, the city is filled with the immigrants who are moving out of Africa, rushing to London. They are filling the city. All the people who are the true Londoners, the true British people, they have moved out of that space. They are back in their homes. I know that today 40% of the best businesses in Britain, they are run from home. They have actually moved. They have moved not because of the reset of the COVID, but they have seen the trend that there is a new season where there is a migration. And this migration is what I want to explain today. Not only that the home is a palace, but there is a throne in the palace. There is a throne in the palace. And the throne that is in the palace is the virtual activity. Virtual activity. Your laptop is your throne. Get your throne, get your laptop. Don't say, I don't have a laptop. Even if it is in the smallest room in the house, take it out because that is your throne. That is your throne. If you have just a cell phone today and you are in a home, irrespective of what kind of a home it is, make sure that you get a laptop. I know of friends I have in Philippines, actually the person who influenced me to do websites, she's a friend of mine and we've been in the ministry together. Her name is Mayet in Philippines. She was showing me, they have more shacks in Philippines than the shacks that are here in Kailija. But what is interesting about each and every shack, those shacks, all the digital creators are inside those shacks. Every shack has got a laptop and they are doing business for America. They are doing business for Europe. All those are freelancers, but they are in those shacks. So I'm saying to you today, if you will have the mentality that I am building my empire and you have accepted that it does not matter what kind of a home you are in, but inside that home, the first place of ruling, if you are going to rule the palace, you need to have the throne. You need to have the throne, the seat of governance. Because once you sit in that seat, you begin to rule. Once you sit there, once you go online in that place, you begin to rule. You begin to meet the kings and queens in the global space. Because now what we have, let me tell you this because I said this to you before. I said before that in 10 years, internet as a virtual world, it brought together 1 billion people. It took 10 years for them to do that. And 1 billion people, it took, 8 year for Facebook to organize 1 billion people in the internet, to make them to have, some identities, call them some IDs. I mean, even Google on the other side, it gave us our own IDs. Google came in there and saw that, okay, there's a billion people here, and gave them the IDs. The IDs we have today, we have the IDs of our Gmails. Those are our internet IDs. And Facebook said, okay, you have this ID, I'm going to give you a home. Facebook gave us some homes, Facebook gave us some homes. And then TikTok came and took only 5 years to say, okay, these million people, I'm going to give them a platform. I'm going to give them a platform to say something very important just in 3 minutes, maybe just in 2 minutes. But here is an exciting thing. The AI platforms, they just did that job only in 24 months. The AI platforms, they did that job just in 24 months. Today, from the comfort of my bedroom, I meet with my AI platform, agents, and I prepare with them a blog. My photographers, my social media experts, my graphic designers, I meet with them because now they are the machines. They are the digital machines that are working with me. Now, for me to meet them, I need to have a laptop and communicate with them in the laptop. And when you see my blog, the blog I am writing today is 10 times better than the blog that has to be written in an agency, a marketing agency somewhere inside the city in Cape Town. Therefore, it shows that I have taken my laptop and I said that this laptop is going to be the throne of my empire. It is going to be the throne of my empire. So I'm saying to you that because of understanding that there is a digital migration, and that digital migration, there is a billion people waiting for you online. But these people who are waiting for you online in that place is just your throne. That is your throne. For you to be able to do online better, for you to be able to rule from your throne, you cannot just take your throne and go and put it in the office. A throne belongs to the palace. A throne belongs to a home. Therefore, kings and queens, they knew from the beginning that they have to rule from homes. And let me just read you the reasons from my blog here. The palace is the center of power. That's why they rule from home. It concerns us today because your home is where your decisions, your creativity, your visions are stronger. That's in your home. That's in your home. Find a place in your home. It does not matter which room. Find a house of peace in your home. Let there be a place that you can call a house of peace, even if it is in your shower, even if wherever it is. But you must have a house of peace where you know that if I am in this shower, if when I'm sitting here, I am in my throne. I am in my place where I can make my decisions, where I can have creativity and vision. I am stronger when I'm in this place. The other reason is that legacy is built where family lives. I want somebody to write it down there. Legacy is built where family lives. I want you to write it down there. Legacy is built where family lives. Now, if you say, why does it matter today? Wealth means nothing if it doesn't transform your household. If wealth comes to you to destroy your household, something is wrong with that wealth. Money answers all things. That's what the Bible says. When it says it answers all things, it means that if you have an evil heart and you have got money, you are going to be visible. If you were planning to wreck your home, the moment you have money, the answer is going to be there. Money will expose you. So if you're going to build legacy, if you want your prince and your princess, to take this business forward, you will have to understand that legacy is built where family lives. And the other reason why kings and queens are ruling from home, home is the safest fortress. That's why you would see their homes, they were done as the castle would be a fortress. Security, privacy, peace, all is needed for smart business moves. If you want to have a smart business move, you need to have security, privacy, and peace. Am I making sense to you? If I'm making sense just right there, it makes sense. If I'm making sense just right there, it makes sense. We are busy preparing kings and queens of APL Go here. Kings and queens of APL Go who are not just creating downlines, but they are building their empire. And they are going to be so patient. They are going to be so patient, even if it can take 2 years. I know of people here who are saying, I took about 2 years. I took about 3 years not getting people. In fact, when we started here with Lady LB with the online, we took about 7 months not getting a single person. 7 months not getting a single person, because we were in this place that was busy building, this empire, building the empire. When you build an empire, you need to be patient. You don't just complain and say, I paid 45,000 plus tax, 53,000 for nothing. I'm jumping off. I need my money. You don't do that. You don't do that, because you are building an empire. And the other reason is that kings connected globally from one place. From one place. A king from a palace would call another king in a palace and another queen in a palace. If I am here in the house today and then I receive a message from my upline, that is King Masia, that is King Baloi from his palace sending a message to King Vanto in his palace, because that is the understanding that kings and queens had throughout the world. They were communicating from their palaces. They were communicating from their homes. People today who are moving billions of money, they don't move it from offices, they move it from their homes. They call each other from their homes and say, make a trade. You can sell that. You can buy that. They are doing it from their home. What is your home hosting today? Are you hosting Generation? Are you hosting Skim Sami? Are you hosting that binging of the Netflix? What are you hosting in your home? Let's talk about the home essentials right now. This is the royal palace set up. The royal palace set up for the kings and queens of APL Go. When you are going to start ruling, the first thing you need to have a dedicated desk space. It does not matter whether that desk is your bed, but it must be dedicated. But you are going to grow and get better and better. The next thing you need to have a comfortable ergonomic chair. A chair that is going to take you through, because, the calls that we make, I know that some people, we are saying to them, make 10 calls a day. We are making 30 calls a day. For you to make 30 calls a day, you need a reliable chair. And the other thing you need a reliable laptop. Now, in everything that I have said, forget about what I have said. This one is non-negotiable. This one is non-negotiable. I appreciate that you start this business with your phone. That I appreciate. But you will soon need to have the business in your laptop. It's hot in Cape Town today. I know when it is hot with us, we are the land of the opposition. It must be very cold somewhere. The laptop is not negotiable. If you have been running this business and you have been buying all the other things and you are not ready to buy your laptop, go to a Pakistani shop. They will give you a first laptop for 2,000. And then you will improve from that laptop and go up and up and up. The other thing that you will need a fast internet. South Africans right now, almost throughout the country, you have fast internet opportunities. I know of people who are buying data airtime for 800. You can have for 400 a cable internet that is going to run, which is a Wi-Fi. Get that Wi-Fi. It needs planning. Just go out there. You don't need to have a good credit check for you to have that. And then what you will need to have, a good ring light, a proper lighting. You will need to have a whiteboard and a vision wall. You will need to have a planner or a digital calendar. Well, your phone is just your messenger, but your laptop is your kingdom engine. Can you just write there, my laptop is my kingdom engine? A business without a laptop today is like a king that is without a throne. Remember that. The business without a laptop today is like a king that is without a throne. I want to do the next 3 minutes and let's finish this. Now, in the virtual essentials, you will need to have a CRM, a customer relationship management software. I have decided to create my own. Because they are expensive, I cannot afford them. I have decided to create my own. You will need to have a WhatsApp, a business, and a Zoom or a Google Meet. You will need to have cloud storage on Google Drive. Don't say my phone is full. I hear that all the time, and with all due respect, you just have to pay 32 rands and all that space is going to be open. You have a lot of 32 rands that you are using daily for other things. Just give Gmail 32 rands per month. You will need graphic tools. You will need your Canva, but with me, I'm using my app world. You will need the automation tools. With me, again, I'm using my app world. You will need an AI assistant. With me, again, I'm using my app world. So these are the virtual office essentials. And I'm going to encourage you to go to the blog, and I will put the blog in here. It matters now because the marketplace is no longer a mall. The marketplace, it's your email list. It is your WhatsApp groups. It is your community. It is your content. It is your Zoom rooms. That is where the wealth of nations is stored today. And you will need to treat those places better today. Because those places are the places where we say that your home is your palace, your laptop is your throne, your network is your army, your mindset is your crown. I want you to write that. Write in the comment, your home is your palace. Somebody write in the comment, your laptop is your throne. Somebody write in the comments, your laptop is your throne. Somebody write, your network is your army. Somebody write, your mindset is your crown. If you don't have an army, which is your network, you need to start having your crown first. Start putting a crown, your mindset, your thinking. You must think like a king and a queen. Start with that. Once you have your crown, the Bible speaks about a man who was crowned in a cave. Once you have your crown, your army is going to come to you. You need to have that Facebook, crown. You need to have that profile. You need to have that cover, which when people are looking at, they will say, there is our king and there is our queen, and they will come to you. And as they come to you, you will have to sit in your throne, because you can't be ruling an army without sitting in a throne. Imagine not having a laptop, but you want an army. And at the same time, at one stage, you will have to decide that I'm going to turn my home into a palace. I'm going to turn my home into a palace. And that's the royal assignment I am giving to you today, that you need to prepare your palace. You need to build your throne room. You need to step into the season of home-based royalty and digital dominion. Your legacy begins where you live. Your wealth begins where you sit. Your future begins now at home. At home. So I hope my message today has made some sense to you. I'm sorry that it took 45 minutes, but thank you for coming. I'm going to do some acknowledgements. and I can see Shanine, I can see Budzingisa, I can see Teboho, I can see Kensani. I think there are almost 50 comments here, which I'm not able to read all of them, but they come from Mina. There are 94 comments. They are coming from Mam Kensi. They come from David. They come from Weziwe, Lorraine, Gertrude, Salome, Calvin, Gracie, Malitola, Linda, Anna, Porota, Dimples, Winnie, Mukwena, Shanine, Teboho, Bavumile, and there is much, much more. There is much, much more. People, I've made up my mind today. And the things I am saying to you, I am saying them as my own conviction. I am saying them as my own conviction. When I call my 10 people every day, I am thinking of a better throne, a better laptop. I am thinking of a better palace. Because that throne must be in the palace. For me to have that better throne and that better palace, I need to have a crown. Every Zoom meeting we have Monday up to Monday, that is the place where they are placing a crown. They are changing your mindset. They are making you to visit your future. Because when they put a crown in you, when Mr. Baloyi every Monday, Tuesday is putting a crown in me, he makes me to visit my future until I remember my future. And once you remember your future is going to manifest. Please, I am begging you, when your upline is calling you so that she can put a crown in your head in a meeting, whether it is a Zoom meeting, whether it is a Teams meeting, go there, because you need to have that crown put on you every single day. That mindset, that mentality that is surrounding you, it is going to attract your army. Once you have a crown, the army will see you and they will come to you. Leaders, thank you very much. Thank you for your comments. I might not have given acknowledgement to all of you, but I hope my message today is resonating with you. I'm not saying we have perfect homes. Our homes are a challenge in South Africa. They can be the place of prison. They can be the place where we fight. That is why most of us, you find us in the taverns. You find men in the taverns because their homes are a place of violence. You find women will move out and spend time in the church, don't want to go home because maybe that's where domestic violence is. But I'm saying, even if it is your shower, even if it is your toilet, even if it is just your bedroom, have a place where you wear your crown. Have a place where you have your throne. Have a place where you talk to your army. Even if people are making noise in their house, talk to your army. Even if your army is just 2 people left and right who are your downlines, that is the beginning of your army. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for attending our meeting today. I hope that it gave you some good reason to go out there and build your palace and build your throne and build your crown. So have a wonderful day and thank you for coming today. So let's say go big and go win, and then we will talk to you again tomorrow.